He has been called the new king of Atlanta hip-hop. Kanye West reportedly makes scarves while listening to his music. Atlanta rapper 2CHAINZ capped off a wildly successful 2012 with a Grammy nod for his gold-certified debut album based on a true story. This week, the former Players Circle rapper released his highly anticipated sophomore LP, BOATS, Boats 2, MEALTIME. That is the best line ever, with production assistance from some of hip-hop's most sought-after beat makers. The album also comes with the 2CHAINZ Mealtime Cookbook, with recipes ranging from pan-seared sea bass with heirloom tomato salsa to chicken marsala. Joining me now is recording artist 2CHAINZ, whose new album is called Boats 2, #MEALTIME. He is also out with a new cookbook called #MEALTIME.
Yes.
We got to get to the cookbook, but first let us begin with the album, 2CHAINZ. Congratulations on the debut effort. A lot of anticipation for it.
Yeah.
And you're working, now this is, I used to edit a music magazine, so for those of us that have followed the careers of Diplo and Manny Fresh, everybody knows who Pharrell is. You are working with an all-star lineup. And I guess I wonder, you know, is it hard, if you could tell us about your creative process, is it hard to work with that many different producers and have a single unified signature 2CHAINZ sound?
Well, for me, this was a wish list that I had, you know, prior to becoming the star, or prior to getting on the level that I was at. I was always a fan of Pharrell. I was always a fan of Manny Fresh and what he did in the earlier hip-hop days, Diplo and what he does for the EDM community. So it was just about getting in a position to where I could reach out, and we respected each other's time, space, and when we went in the studio, we just made magic and we made history together, and those would be my friends for a lifetime.
Pharrell said the track was recorded right after a Grammy after party while he was still in his tux. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so you know, my first album got nominated for a Grammy, which is a big thing, and I was excited. So I went to the Grammys and I was like hyping myself up, like, you know, if I don't win a Grammy, I'm going to the studio tonight. But you know, it was a great chance that I wasn't going to win a Grammy, so I didn't go to any parties. I went straight to the studio, and he went to a few parties. He came to my studio session. He had on a tux, he had on a bow tie. He was all swagged up, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it was just like the whole vibe was there, you know. I played him half of my album, and he made the beat right in front of my face. I recorded it, and now you got the song FEDZ Watch.
Let's talk about that, FEDZ Watching, because we've been talking about police, stop and frisk, you know, all these issues relating to minority communities and, you know, their interaction with the police. What is FEDZ Watching about?
FEDZ Watching is a reality record. I mean, it's no secret that our country is being monitored. Somebody's monitoring us every step of the way, every cell phone, and so many satellite towers. And for me being a rap artist, for me having my schedule online, it's really not hard to really, being a part of social media, you know, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, it's not really hard. Our privacy is basically eliminated at the end of the day, and so I feel like, you know, it's just another step with the government, and for, you know, a lot of rappers in an entertainment period, you know, we kind of walk on eggshells not to make any mistakes because almost everything we do is being, you know, under a scope. Yeah.
Well, it's like twofold though, right? On one level, you have over 2 million Twitter followers, and you're sharing with them, and they're part of your community. At the same time, I mean, I wonder, you're talking about surveillance. Have you followed all the news about what is being monitored in terms of emails, Facebook, Twitter, electronic communications? Like, is that something that concerns you?
I mean, in our form of work, it comes to us. We get notified of a lot of those things. And then, for the most part, in this day of age, it's common sense. This is our, like, 12th year since the towers. Since that tragedy happened, so it's not a secret what our country is doing to try to, you know, keep us safe. And, you know, some people think it's being nosy at the same time. But for me, I just try to educate people in an entertaining way without boring them. You know, they can watch the news. I just try to, you know, they might dance and party to some of my music, but it still may have an underlying meaning or some substance involved.
Yeah, and I'm sure, you know, for minority communities that have been surveilled by the police in one form or another, it almost is like a continuation of that sort of, that feeling of being watched, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
But okay, so I have to get to the cookbook.
Yeah, you like that
awkward
cookbook.
segue from surveillance to chicken marsala, but this is a big deal, I think, on a number of levels. One, because Mealtime and METIME is an awesome verbal hashtag change. But also, you know, we talk about food and our bodies and respect for our bodies and what we put into them. And I think it's really meaningful that someone in your position is taking time out and making something like this, which is a cookbook that stands alone. It is a real cookbook. I think we have images from it with real recipes, really healthy recipes that are about something, I think, beyond just eating. It's about the way you treat yourself, the time you take for yourself, and valuation of self in the day-to-day. Why do you have this cookbook, and what is your relationship to food? Because I know you've had some health problems. Was that where it began?
Yeah, well, I have a personal chef. Let me start off by saying that I know how to cook, but I have a chef that prepares these meals for me. I'm on the road. You know, I've done maybe close to 700 shows since 2010, and so I do suffer from acid reflux as well as ulcers. So I take a couple of forms of medication, which I don't like taking. I just try to eat properly to prevent me from getting sick. And so a couple of those things that I need to do is not get too full, not get too hungry. I don't eat any beef or pork. You know what I'm saying? I rarely eat fried food, and so I have shaped a healthy form of living and a lifestyle of eating. And so it's just my mentality is what you put in is what you get out. It's like a receipt. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I get energy. It's your how you feel, your complexion, your glow and everything is very important as far as your food. And so a lot of people think it's for the high class, or you can't afford it. You can do this stuff on a George Foreman grill. These recipes are done on my tour bus while we were driving doing 50, 60 miles per hour. So it doesn't take a lot of skills.
But and the recipes are great. I mean, there's the MEATIME sauce, which is like Old Bay influence. There's crab cakes with mango salsa. Yeah, we don't want to Old Bay keep it on the
No. You can tell the MEATIME sauce. I'm
not great. Yeah.
But you can tell them I love. Those are all. I just really, when I put the book together, I realized how much I love seafood. Really.
Yeah. And I realized how much I love seafood reading your cookbook.
Yeah.
But then there's also these directions in it that include position yourself in a room surrounded by a handful of TVs playing Sports Center with the sound off, or in a teriyaki salmon recipe, put your Versace apron on, or sauteed asparagus, drape yourself in an Adidas sweatsuit, chains and things. It's very funny, but it's also insight into how does 2CHAINZ conduct himself in the kitchen? I know you have a chef that does a lot of this stuff, but if you cook, what is the thing that you cook?
Well, I have an apron. I have an apron that I put on. I have to take off the ring, take off, make sure I wash up and everything, and get my cutting board out, get all my seasonings out and all that. I like, cooking with olive oil and things of that nature, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it just depends. I like cooking, for women. That's my...
Well, I volunteer myself for you. Exactly. Anytime you want to cook for me, 2CHAINZ. All right, we got to leave it there. But the album is out now. Recording artist, author, 2CHAINZ. Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck with everything.
All right, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show.
So this show is a review of the reviews, as it were. Been watching politics for 10 years. This is my manifestation of trying to make real the idea of blogosphere.com back in 2004. Yeah, that was me. Didn't do anything with it. Went and joined the law firm. Alright, and you may notice that a lot of the reviews, well, it seems to be quite oriented towards MSNBC. Well, there's a reason for that. One, we get to keep alive the Keith Olbermann tradition of paperwork in your camera face. But seriously, more importantly, MSNBC is the only cable news network that I know of and have seen. And I used to watch Fox News quite a bit years ago when blogosphere was in my mind. And I wrote many a treatise on the current issues going on back then. But they are the only network, MSNBC, again, that has Republicans on point. Scarborough country until the Imus debacle. Now he's on in the morning, and that's 3 to 6 in the morning here, Pacific time. So I don't get to see him as much. But you got SA per se, per se on the cycle, and they have plenty of Republican guests on it. They even used to have Laura Ingraham and Ann Coulter on there. This is MSNBC. That's why we cover them. All right, so they're on every day. They have such great material. My intent is to try to bring these things to you, in case you missed them, for posterity's sake. And so you may be asking, well, the Tai Chi, well, you're not demonstrating martial arts. No, the Tai Chi martial art came long after the Tai Chi. The symbol of yin and yang, the origin of yin and yang is right here, the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. I wholeheartedly recommend it as reading for anybody of any faith, because it's the only book that's given me peace. And it's not so much a religious or organized religion kind of a book. It's more of a spiritual, philosophical guideline as to how to get along with everyone and everything in the universe. Alright, so I've set it up. So at the end of each show, I'm going to try to read a bit of wisdom from the Tao Te Ching, and also quote something from myself that represents the right of center, since she can't talk, because a lot of times MSNBC does represent the left of center, or just the slightly left of center viewpoint. The only Republican talking points you might get is vis-a-vis the guests. So I'm going to prove that I'm a little bit right of center and present things to you such as it may come up.